again. Bill Pfeiffer speaking from Marysville. Good to be with you. Do remember to subscribe and the like button, and do check out Chosen on the TV. It's just a marvelous job that has been done to share the life of Jesus in pictures. Just marvelous, marvelous job. Nice story today. Once there was a woman who ran a small shop on the town's main street. On one particular day, her store was overflowing with customers. In the midst of the mayhem, a friend dropped by to tell her, "Annie, I have great news." "This had better be important," Annie said, with more than a shade of scorn to color her words. "Can't you see how busy I am?" Her friend winked. "It is important. You once told me that you have a burning question within your heart, one which you have shared with no one." "It is true," Annie said, continuing to work at the counter. "I have yet to find a person with enough wisdom to answer it." "Well," the friend said, "I've learned of a great saint who lives in the southern coast. Now you have someone who might be able to answer your question." Annie stared at all her customers. The store was very busy, but she had waited a long time for this. So she told her customers there had been an emergency and invited them to come back at another time. Annie rushed out the door, got in her car, traveled down the coast to the place where her friend told the saint lived. All the while, the question kept burning deeply in her heart. After looking for a couple of hours, she found herself outside the saint's small seaside hermitage. The door swung open. A small elderly woman stood smiling. "Good morning," she greeted Annie. "Come in. I've been expecting you." But Annie answered, "I have one question to ask of you, and I'll not move until it's answered." The saint wiped her hands on her apron, leaned against the doorpost, and waited. "If you had one day to live, just one day, how would you spend that day?" The old woman gazed out upon the ocean. A breeze brought a few strands of her white hair down upon her face, which she gently brushed back. "Well," she said softly, "first I would say my morning prayer. Then I'd fix a little coffee and toast. After breakfast I would go out to weed the garden. Then I would probably go to visit my neighbor Gabe, since his rheumatism really bothers him this time of the year." The old woman paused to watch some gulls dive into the nearby waves. "After visiting Gabe, I might come back to fix a bite for lunch and then take a short nap." Annie stopped her. "Wait. I'll bet that's the way you live every day." The old woman smiled. "Of course. Why would I live my last day any differently?" The question is, I guess, for us, how would we answer Annie's question? If you had only one day to live, who would you call? If you only had one day to live, how would you live that day? And so we need to make each day as if it were our last. Happiness tomorrow always depends on doing the full truth today. And then the last day ends up being a happy day. Good to be with you. God bless. Keep me in your prayers. You are always in mine.